Indonesia, the third largest democracy in the world, is holding out simultaneous general elections on the 14th of February 2024. It is widely believed to be the biggest event of democracy and the history of elections in Indonesia and even the biggest in the world. Since its independence in 1945, Indonesia has conducted numerous kinds of elections, starting from the election in 1955 all the way to the last one in 2019. Although it has been a regular agenda, the 2024 elections will be different from the previous ones. For the first time, the people of Indonesia will face a complex phase of elections, namely legislative elections, presidential elections, and regional head elections all simultaneously. In the meantime, Indonesian people residing abroad will also be able to vote to choose the next president and vice president, as well as members of legislative candidates for the capital Jakarta, which includes the southern and central Jakarta, as well as overseas. Based on the latest data released by the Commission of General Elections, there are around 204 million voters that are eligible to vote for the 2024 general elections. 1.75 million among them are diaspora voters scattered around the globe. Speaking of general elections of Indonesia abroad, Kuala Lumpur Malaysia has always been in the spotlight due to the fact that it has the biggest amount of Indonesian diaspora overseas, making Kuala Lumpur one of the most important international ballots.
Indonesia is soon to embark upon yet another presidential election in February 2024. As millions of Indonesian diaspora reside here in Malaysia, it will soon become yet another hotly contested region for international ballot. I'm Rahmat Idris. Join me as we explore how Indonesians here gear up towards the general election in 2024.
As an official delegate of Indonesian government overseas, the Embassy of Indonesia has such a crucial role to facilitate the 2024 general elections. Moreover, Malaysia has the biggest amount of Indonesian voters, which amounts to half of total overseas voters. I had the privilege to interview the ambassador of Indonesia to Malaysia to learn the latest preparations ahead of the upcoming simultaneous general elections.
So, Your Excellency, our first and foremost goal and objective to come and see you here at your office today is to get your insights on the upcoming general election in Indonesia. It's going to be in February next year, 2024. How has the embassy here in Kuala Lumpur been preparing for the general election?
Yeah, actually, in accordance to the existing regulation, we already set up the election commission for foreign countries. We call it PPLN, and of course, election in Malaysia always become a public attention because the size of Indonesian citizen, it means the size of the potential of voters. For example, Kuala Lumpur alone, we already registered 447,000 registered voters.
So those with voting rights.
Voting rights.
447,000.
Yes.
Out of how many Indonesians in Malaysia, sir?
We have registered Indonesian citizen, workers mostly, around 425,000. But the problem of the main challenge, we have size of undocumented where we don't know their whereabouts. So this is the most challenging election time in Malaysia. And every election, this is always become a very most interesting and most challenging because all eyes are watching
and
our.
Also most scrutinized.
Yes, sure.
Say, because as I'd like to echo again what you said, this is one of the most hotly contested international ballots for our countries. What about those you mentioned earlier, those unregistered? Out of the 47 something hundred thousands of already registered and fixed, make it into the fixed list of voters. What about those who are just here in the country and not made it to the list, Your Excellency?
Yeah, we work together with Indonesian community, Indonesian organization to encourage them to register in the election commission here at the embassy. Kuala Lumpur alone, we have registered 447,000. So the rest.
That's a number for Kuala Lumpur,
Kuala Lumpur.
not for the entire Malaysia.
No. This is only Kuala Lumpur, not only Kuala Lumpur.
Okay.
So
we have a larger.
So approximately around 50% of Indonesian voters across the globe, 50% are in Malaysia. So you can see the magnitudes of the works that the election commission has to take.
That's right. And 1,001 things you got to prepare ahead of that.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Ambassador, I'd like to get your take and your insights on we believe that the sheer number of voters pose certain challenge to have to have them participate and exercise their votes, as you would say. Is there a part of the embassy's responsibility alongside with the commissions for foreign elections to sort of encourage our Indonesian diaspora to take part in the elections? And how do you go about it?
Yeah, we did because in my residence, for example, we always invite the Indonesian community. Please encourage your friend, register your family, and so on. And also, we are going to a certain plantation, certain factories, and we bring along the election commission to give a kind of socialization, to encourage them to register their name. And also we have the social media platform that can be used for the Indonesian community to register themselves. But again, encouraging them to register is another challenge.
It's a tricky thing.
It's a tricky because I'm undocumented, so if I register people, the enforcement security may knew my whereabouts, or this kind of sense that they have. So it is a huge challenge how to encourage them to come out and then register themselves. But we always do our best to use the Indonesian community across Malaysia to encourage them to register also.
If we look back to the presidential election in 2019, one of the most viral moments in Malaysia was the already signed or chosen ballots that has been casted. It's like opening a can of worms, and then it was all over the internet. So it's such a mishap of our conduct for the 2019 elections. How do we prevent that from occurring again for the 2024, Mr. Ambassador?
Election in 2014, I was here. So I experienced the election in Malaysia before 2014 when I was deputy ambassador in Malaysia, and then 2019 election I was in Madrid. I knew what happened here, and one of the reason I believe why I was transferred from Madrid to Malaysia.
You get the message.
I got the message from my minister. Hey, look, we don't want this to happen again. Please do your best. You know the situation in Malaysia. You have experienced election in 2014. So now I'm doing my job how to prevent this incident reoccurring again. So we know that there was a fraud in the election, so I think that's the main job of my tenure here in Malaysia next year.
One final question to you, Your Excellency. What is your biggest hope and expectations ahead of the February 2024 elections for our people here in Malaysia?
First, because of the traumatic experience in 2019 election, my main objective is to prevent such incident to reoccur again in Malaysia, not only in Kuala Lumpur. That's a lesson learned, and I hope that the next election will be a peaceful election, will be a credible election, and will be election that everybody is happy to come out and to cast their ballots, to exercise their rights. So that's what I'm doing here. But to prevent the fraud that like what happened in the previous election is my main objective. And I believe with the close cooperation with all political parties representative in Malaysia, because we have a regular meeting. So every month I invite them to my residence to drink coffee and to
get a sense of their progress.
But I always say to them that look, this is the challenge, you know, the challenge ahead, and we should showcase the good image of Indonesian election in Malaysia. We don't want to see any incidents as happened before. So, and they do understand, and they do supportive. They are very supportive, and we are committed to exercise the election here in a peaceful manner, in a credible and a democratic manner, with more participants come out to cast their ballots.
Well, very well said there, Mr. Ambassador, and I guess we have to leave our conversation there. Extraordinary and plenipotentiary Ambassador of Indonesia to Malaysia, Your Excellency, I want to thank you very much for your
insights. My pleasure, and anytime you need more information, or maybe you come again during the casting
we will
the election on the 14th of February. That will be a very interesting event to cover.
We'll make sure to be here, hopefully.
So I always, we are always welcome to you or to any news outlet to come to Malaysia and to see how the election in Malaysia. I promise to myself that next election will be something different than the previous election.
With maximum participation.
With maximum participation, peaceful, everybody happy. Cherish.
It is a party of our democracy.
Yes, that's
as a matter of fact.
Yes.
Thank you very much again.
Thank you. Thank you, Rahmat.
If half of total overseas voters reside in Malaysia, it is also necessary to learn that over 50% of these voters reside in the capital of Kuala Lumpur. The Overseas General Election Committees of Kuala Lumpur has decided on Sunday, the 11th of February 2024, to be the election day, meaning election here will take place 3 days sooner than in Indonesia.
The most crucial stuff that we need to do, and I think we had done for some months ago. The first one is that we were doing a recruitment for the officials. The name in Indonesia usually called pantarle. It is an official whose job is to verify and also to verify the to verify the data for Indonesian voters in Malaysia, and also to register Indonesian citizens who haven't registered yet in the international list for voters. The first thing that we did is we get the data from the Committee of General Election of Republic Indonesia. We got about 495,000 voters, and then we verify the data. We assign the pantarli, about 700 pantarli. We assign for them to verify the data, and after that, to verify the data, the pantarli doing some activities like calling them by phone, using WhatsApp, and then sending a message, and then sending an email, and also visiting to places where they are working, where they are living, and where they are doing activities, like in a company, and then in the fields, and also in their houses. For now, the list for permanent voters has already been published and has already been stipulated in June 21st, if I'm not mistaken, 21st of June 2023. And there is also possibility that there will be newcomers, students who are studying in Malaysia, and then also workers who will work in here. There is another mechanism that we can do. For example, using DPK. It is a special list for those who haven't registered yet, and also they haven't registered in the list. They can still use their right to vote by coming to the what's called as TPS, the voting booth, and then as long as they can show their identity card, or their passport or SPLP, and as long as the ballot is available, so they are permitted to vote in that day. The committee from general elections, they had already stipulated that every polls will be 82.5% of the total of the voters. So if the number of the voters in the poll is 500, so there will be 2.5% additional ballot.
Elections
Minimize the problems related to polls.
The best way to anticipate the chaos is through split the mass. We have to split that. And that's why we
full information on which direction to go, so it's create a lot of problems at that time.
There was a scandal actually in 2029. Is one of the biggest 2019 in especially in Indonesia embassy Kuala Lumpur election process, where there is some what we call is something not right, so that's why there is the Commission of Indonesia is try to find out what happened actually. It was a fraud actually, a fraud elections, and we hope in the next 2024 this 2029 black history in the election of Indonesia will not appear again.
Hope this year, next year, 2024, the election will be done in such a way that all of us will follow the instruction, and then of course in a good manners. And as Indonesians, we believe that we have to respect each other.
Kita harus menghargai satu sama lain, walaupun kita berbeda pilihan, kita kan tetap satu negara NKRI, satu ideologi dasar negara Pancasila. Jadi kita sama-sama mensukseskan pesta demokrasi 2024 dengan adil, aman, tentram, dan damai.
What we hope is number one, the president who really committed into the right of the migrant workers of Indonesia, or diaspora Indonesia all over the world. That he has to take care, he has to protect our rights, and also making some regulation, and also something that may be better than the previous governments. This is our hopes actually.
voters' participation, eliminating frauds, and the accountability of vote counts remain some of the biggest homework for the upcoming election here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. It is now in the hands of the Embassy of Indonesia in Kuala Lumpur alongside the respective commissions to ensure a successful and fair Indonesian general election in 2024. From Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Rahmat Idris, TVRI World.